Hey, Mr. California, Daddy, you there?
I'm here, brother.
Hey, I know you got me a prize, don't you?
I do, brother. You know exactly what it is, brother. The CEO of Hardcore, brother. Vicious Vic Grimes, man.
Hey, this is the real human highlight reel. That's all I know. I mean, this guy, Vicious Vic Grimes, can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Hey, we're doing great. Thanks for coming on the show, man. This is a big honor for us. We're huge fans. You've got two of the biggest highlight reel moves in all of wrestling history, both with New Jack. And, you know, these things, I don't know if you know your legacy among non-wrestling fans or not, but those two, the ECW thing where you threw him on his head and landed on his head on the concrete, and then when you got thrown off the scaffold in XPW, those things are on party tapes all over the country, man. Just of people going, holy shit moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They made it on a couple videos too on TV. You know, for the whacked out videos. It was on there once. You know, your entrance music you guys just used for your radio station, Slap Your Bitch Up. That was my first one of my entrance musics a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, the question I have, I know almost everybody has seen those things. My first question, I want to definitely get into those two matches, the whole New Jack feud for sure. But my first question is, can you still walk? Are you still able to move at all nowadays?
Well, I want to say this. Mankind had a book out a long time ago, and on the back of the book, it showed what every one of his injuries, stitches, and this and that. You know, I had a book out. The backside of my book would say, basically, I never got hurt. Never. Not one injury ever.
Yeah, that is so insane because, well, let's get to the first fall. You missed the table coming off the scaffold on an ECW pay-per-view. I remember it like it was yesterday. We used to have parties every other month for the ECW pay-per-views. No other wrestling show could get just regular guys to come and watch pay-per-views for wrestling. But ECW did because it had the cool factor, and we're all watching that shit. And you come off that scaffold with New Jack. You missed the table. It looked like you did it just looks like you landed, a perfectly flat back on the concrete, and you got up and walked away, flipping off the crowd, or holding your hand up or something. I can't remember what you're doing, but it was like, holy shit. I mean, it looked like you probably died, and you didn't get hurt from that.
No, well, what happened was during the show, I said, hey, well, you want to go fight in the audience, and he goes, of course, duh, and so I looked around the building, and and I said, hey, I see some stuff over there, some scaffolding. We never once went over it ever. I just told him, I said, hey, I'm going to put you on a table, and I'll start to go up like I'm going to do something, and then you climb up on the other side, and we were going to try to do, I guess, the world's tallest superplex. And for some odd reason, there was no footing up there because we never really checked it out too good. And back in the day before I was a wrestler, I used to work for a scaffold company, and ironically, and I'm used to walking up there, that kind of stuff, so I'm not really scared of heights at all. And so we got up there, and we really didn't have too good a footing, and so I was like, hey, come over here, And then I guess he crawled over to me, and then we got up, and I acted like I was going to powerbomb him for a minute, and then he lost his footing. He couldn't get his footing, and I said, come on, man, just hook me, let's go, hook me and go. And, well, for some reason, he didn't fall backwards. He kind of fell down, which forced me on top of him. So I decided to launch myself out there as far as I could, just not land on the guy, And, I didn't, like I said, I hit the table completely, landed straight on the ground, but kind of did a on him.
Yeah, and it was crazy because at that time we'd seen New Jack come off of shit a lot of times on all the pay-per-views. He was coming off something, but it was always sort of like just kind of straight down or like a body splash or something. This was the first time we saw anybody do a flip, like off of a high dive or something, and it was like, oh my God! And then free to land like just flat into the concrete, and then to get up and walk away, and he's laying there, he's dead, you know. And that was insane. It was great.
I don't know. They're going to squash his fucking head. And Vic Grimes, they're going to squash New Jack's head, and I thought he was dead, brother, practically.
Well, he did get hurt pretty bad, and he had to go to the hospital that night. He had like 14 stitches in the back of his head. He broke his foot when he came down. He actually lost vision in his right eye because of it. And to this day, he can't stand me. He hates me because of it, because, shit went wrong. And, so every day he basically has to go through with not being able to have good vision in his right eye because of it. I didn't plan it to go wrong or anything. It just did. And, but everyone knows when you wrestle, there's a chance things can go wrong,
Exactly.
Well, fuck it. If you're coming off of a scaffold, I would say chances are something is going to go wrong, and you're lucky if it doesn't, more than anything. If you decide to come off a scaffold, I mean, you just gotta know. I wouldn't do that. I'm scared to death of heights. I wouldn't even go up on a scaffold. I'm terrified. But that led to, because he couldn't have hated you so much because you guys ended up feuding in XPW a few years later, or I don't know how long later it was, but that's what led up. Led to the FREEFALL.
Yeah, actually though, right after that, I don't know if you noticed, we didn't wrestle too much after that because of the fact that he really wanted to hurt me for real. He hated me, and I mean, we even got in a fight in the locker room one time, and all that wasn't on TV or nothing, but he really he didn't like me. But then when XPW kind of then fold, it kind of went to WWF gig. Me and New Jack ended up going to XPW, and he was rolling there, and then they ended up me in, and when they brought me in, we kind of made an agreement in the back to squash all our crap that ever happened before, and start over because we're going to be, doing a program here, And so we started wrestling again, and that led up to the FREEFALL, which was, I guess, the world's tallest scaffold match in pro wrestling history.
I was there in person, brother. I seen that shit, man.
It was sick.
I was a student. In XPW, and I seen that shit.
No,
and I was like, I thought you were dead, brother. I thought you were dead.
It looks...
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, it looks great. I mean, again, that's another one. I wouldn't even pretend to ever do that. If there was a trampoline underneath me, I wouldn't jump off of that fucking thing. And there you are doing a front flip and off the tables. It was insane. That's why it's got to be your career highlight, sort of like Foley off the King of the, Hell in the Cell or whatever, when he came off the top of that thing. It's got to be like sort of your, like what everyone always asks you about. It has to be the thing that everyone always asks you about, right?
Yeah, pretty much. That and the exploding ring match one that I had there,
Well, Supreme, I remember that too. And Pico Rivera, you remember that. I was there too.
Yeah, that was like, I think they said the first exploding ring match in the United States at the time or something.
That was. You're correct, brother. It was. That was the first ever because it was only been done in Japan, brother. And I think you guys did it before ZZW, and then ZZW did it after you guys. You know what I mean?
Right. They had exploding boards, but I didn't think they had the whole ring and all that crap, But and that was actually Supreme's first match back after he got burned up. I don't know if you knew that.
The story behind the FREEFALL thing is, if you listen to New Jack say it, is that he legit tasered you up on the scaffold and then threw you off. It didn't look like that to me, but what was it? What's your version of it? I mean, it didn't look like that to me. If I watched it, it looked like it was sort of well done.
Yeah. Well, I do know this, that, pro wrestling is entertainment, right?
Right, yeah.
But the thing is, me and him were actually supposed to do some spots up there. And for some odd reason, when we got up there to start doing our stuff, he literally, he like didn't want, not that he didn't want to do them or anything, he pulled out a taser out of his pocket, and that wasn't planned at all. And I sat there and I said, what the hell? I go, what the fuck, man? Excuse my language.
You can cuss, brother. You can cuss. Don't worry about it.
No, we like the language.
All right. Well, I said, what the fuck, bro? I'm looking at him, and he goes, just go with it. And I'm like, you hit me with that. I go, bitch, I'm throwing your ass off here. And he goes, no, I'll work it. And then all of a sudden he zaps me, and I'm going down, and basically, he goes to pick me up and throw me off. But literally, he ain't gonna. I don't care what they say. You ain't gonna pick up a 350-pound man off the ground and throw a person if you don't want to go. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man. Exactly. It's impossible.
Right.
Obviously,
right.
I didn't get thrown off. I threw myself off. I made it look good. But I wasn't scared up there. And I don't know what he said in his interview. So he said in his interview that I was scared, I didn't want to go or this and that. But I will say this, there was an area that it was marked off up there, that it was off to the right, to where that's the area I wanted to get launched off from, and which would have landed me right in the center of the tables. Well, we didn't do that. So he says, come on, man, here we go. And he goes, don't push out. And I'm like, I ain't going to push out. I said, I'm not ready, I'm not in position. That's what I said. And then I said, oh, fuck it, here we go. And
my God.
It's off,
That's
right?
crazy, man.
It's off, and I went to flip, land in an airbag, and I was just praying I'd clip some tables to, break my fall, and praying as I can actually see it. It was like in slow motion, man. I could see where I was. I could see everything as I was coming down, and when I actually hit, I knew I was hitting the turnbuckle, or in the turnbuckle area, and when I bounced, I actually knew to tuck my shoulder, my left shoulder and my chin, and turn inward to try to land in the ring. If I wouldn't have done that, I would have bounced and flipped out onto the floor and probably broke my neck.
You would have been dead, man. You would have been fucking dead.
Now, where you were marked?
Huh?
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Prior to the show, before the show, I actually got up there to check it out, and I actually had them move the ring over 5 feet towards that turnbuckle that I fell in. And if I didn't have them move that ring over, I would have ended up going straight to the floor and died.
I remember that because me and the students pushed that ring, brother. I remember Kevin Clymer, Rob Black comes out, and they go, all the students, all the retards, go over there and push the ring for Vic Grimes. He wants the ring pushed. And we literally, I think it was 10, 20 students had to push the fucking ring for you, brother. I remember that. I was there.
It was funny. But no one would climb up either. No one would climb up there except Supreme. Supreme's the only one I went up there to see, and I asked him, I said, would you do this? And he kind of looked at me, and he goes, yeah, I would, and he kind of stuttered, but, I think you would because he's crazy, and in the moment, but I don't think you'd want to.
Supreme is he's sick, he's done a lot of really, shit that he should probably be in a wheelchair from, too, and I'm looking at that and I'm going, wait, when you were up there, and you say there's a spot marked off on the scaffold where you're supposed to come out from, and you're not at it whenever you decide to go, and you just decide to go. Is that a death wish almost, or what? What are you thinking? Why don't you just say, look, it's 5 feet, punch me a couple times, get me back to the spot where I need to be, and then let me go? Would it have been a much better fall if you would have gotten to your real spot?
Oh yeah. It would have been a clean fall and nothing would have happened to me, and the thing I was thinking to myself, okay, before I was going to go off at an angle, you know, but then we're going to go off, you know, when we actually went off, I was trying to think maybe I can just go straight, you know, but then I was fearing that I was going to fall straight to the floor, so I kind of wanted to aim towards that turnbuckle a little, you know, so hoping I'd land in that corner. It was a weird thing. It was up there. It was pretty high, man. So,
yeah, it was really high, and that's why it's on everybody's party videos, man. That's, you know, it's like, holy shit, this guy, like, what in the hell can this guy be thinking? And because it looks like when you hit those ropes, you come off, and like you say, you bounce into the ring. Luckily, thank God, you bounce into the ring and you fall there. When you're laying there, I know there has to be a certain amount of selling, but how much real injury? Was there a lot of real pain or injury, or were you more just like, oh, okay, I got to really sell this motherfucker?
Well, here's the deal. As I'm laying there, you know, I'm like, good, I made it, you know, and I'm alive, you know, I'm alive, But then I knew for some odd reason that my leg was like up on the actual second turnbuckle. I mean, the second cable. I don't know if you knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm laying there,
no.
so I didn't want to lift my leg up and off of it because of fearing that maybe something was wrong with my back. So I was a little nervous, you know, that I might have done something to my back. But then I wiggled my feet, you know, so I knew that I wasn't paralyzed, you know. And the funny thing is, there and I'm selling, right? And all of a sudden, the paramedics come over, and they're all, open your eyes. And I said, no. And I got my eyes closed, right? I'm selling, you know, with my mouth not moving, you know. And they go, you okay? And I said, yeah. And then they go, well, then open your eyes. I go, oh, I'm selling. And they didn't understand what I was talking about because they're not smart to the business. And so they want to start cutting off my pants and this and that, and I'm like, hell no. I go, I'm all right. And then they were like, so they brought over Kevin Kleinrock, and Kevin, you know, comes over and he goes, Vic, you okay? And I go, yeah, I'm fine. And he looks over at the paramedics. He goes, Vic says he's fine. You know, and he goes, well, we need to check him out. We need to make sure that he's okay. And I told him I'm selling, right? And I'll sign any waiver you need. I go, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. And they're like, bullshit, there's got to be something wrong with you. You might have something wrong with your back, your legs. I said, I'm fine. And Rob Black comes over, and he's like, he goes, you all right? And I go, yeah, I'm fine. You know, and this is all selling. Then all of a sudden, which I had no idea, Mother was there. And I thought maybe I was dreaming her dead or something for a second. I looked to my right, and she's right there by the guardrail. She came down. She flew in for the actual show. I didn't tell me or anybody.
God.
Yeah, that's
fucked up, man.
Ran from her seat, right? Left the purse there, and the people sitting next to her ended up guarding her purse and took it over to her.
Oh,
She comes up by the guardrail. I'm laying on the mat, and I look over to the right, and I see my mom, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know? She goes, you all right? And I go, yeah, I'm fine. And she's like, you scared the shit out of me, you fucking asshole, blah, 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 blah. And she starts yelling at me like a mom, you know. I'm laughing. I go, I'm fine, man, I'm fine. So they cut my outfit off, right? These paramedics, these assholes. And I said, you don't cut my boots, man. I go, fuck you. You know, I'm yelling at them. I go, I'm fine. And by this time, they're clearing out the arena. But they do cut my pants off. And so I get up. I have to sign all these waivers. All the people are gone out of the building at the time. And I actually, you know, started limping back to the locker room. Now, here's the part that no one ever saw. And I know that New Jack never said on his little interviews. All right? Here's some scoop that you all want to hear out there.
Exclusive, an awesome bomb. Go ahead, Vic.